This is a very difficult question from Alex, who's a parent of a 10-year-old, aged 38. What discussion topics do you hope families will talk about after finishing the Jewel of Wenzlo together? Wow, this is a very, very difficult question, but I will try to answer it by saying, first of all, a book only exists. I wrote the words. And then the book comes into existence when someone reads it. And so the two of you, the writer and the reader, make the book. I can write the text, the reader provides his or her imagination, and together we form the book. Or another analogy would be I provide the kind of the basic lines of the drawing, and you color it in. Um, so the discussion you would have with your kids after finishing the book would very much come out of your experience of reading it and their experience of reading it. I think that's probably the first point of discussion would be what has been your experience of the Five Lamps being in this world. I've tried very hard to make it as visual and as visceral an experience as possible for readers so that when they read it, they really feel they're in that situation. They're in those palaces, in those caves, they're in the freezing water, they're in the heat of battle. And the effect that has on the individual reader is fascinating. I mean, I would love to speak to all my readers and find out what they got out of the book. And it might be something completely different to what I was thinking or intending. Um, there are some kind of universal themes like resilience, like stoicism, Platonism, all these things, um, ideas about the world beyond or the valleys of the mind, about time. So there are a lot of these themes which are touched upon, which are my kind of interests, which I've kind of woven into the book. Often as a solution to, when I was writing and maybe didn't know where the story was heading, I could kind of fall back on these interests to kind of find solutions within these realms. For example, you know, certain themes, time travel is, albeit in a slightly different way than the traditional way, is touched upon. So are some aspects of quantum physics, but in a very not in a pedantic way, nor trying to push certain points of view on the reader. They're more questions which are raised. And I think that's another point of discussion in the book is, the book does sprinkle the story with things that go beyond the tight narrative of the story. And, it'd be very interesting to see the children, what their take on all these topics are. What do they think about time travel? Or what do they think about the kind of the imaginary world inside our heads, and how we can harness that. And obviously, a lot of the book is about coping with adverse situations, growing through tough experiences which can challenge the characters and put them in danger, frankly. And I think in fantasy, because it is fantasy, you can kind of push that the danger levels higher than in normal life. And it's very interesting for kids to, you know, think, how would I behave in those situations? How would I behave if I'm being attacked by the Law Master Warrior rats or chased by the Weasel Knights on their squirrels? Um, so those are the topics I think one could start discussing, and I think it would make a very interesting conversation.